Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing the book and the movie Forrest Gump. I'm going to tell you a little bit of facts about each, and then I'm going to compare and contrast the similarities and differences, and then I'm going to tell you which one that I thought was better. So first, I'm going to give you a few facts about the book. The book was published in 1986 by author Winston Groom. An interesting fact about Forrest Gump is not everybody knows that the movie is actually based off of this book. The book only sold approximately 30,000 copies before the movie was made, so it indeed was not quite as popular as the movie was. The movie was released in 1994, and as you can see from the cover of this movie, the movie and the book actually have the same cover, which features the main actor Tom Hanks. One actress in this movie is Robin Wright, who plays the character of Jenny. Robin Wright was also the actress who played in the movie The Princess Bride, which we reviewed earlier. One interesting fact about this movie is Tom Hanks based his infamous Forrest Gump accent off of the child actor that played Little Forrest. The child that played Little Forrest, he had that twangy country accent, but that was his real accent. And after Tom Hanks listened to him and watched him, he based his Forrest Gump adult accent off of the child actor's accent, which I thought was really cool. So the book and the movie, they did have some similarities. They both go along the same somewhat storyline about a man with a low IQ and his journey through life. In both the book and the movie, Forrest ends up joining the army and he goes to the Vietnam War, and because of things that happened in the Vietnam War, he ends up losing his best friend Bubba. In both the book and the movie, he goes into some form of the shrimping business, although it is a different form in both the book and the movie, but he does get into the shrimping business and he ends up making a lot of money off of this business that he starts. You see that same love interest that he has with Jenny. Although it is portrayed differently in the book and the movie, you do see that love that Forrest carries for her and the somewhat love that Jenny shows back to him. In both the book and the movie, Lieutenant Dan does lose his legs because of the war. And another similarity is at the end, he has a child with Jenny in both the book and the movie. As far as similarities, that's about where it ends. There are a ton of differences. I, of course, watched the movie first, and it is one of my all-time favorite movies, so I was really excited to read this book, and it's completely different from the movie. There is so much in the book that they're just polar opposites. I would have never known that this book was what they based the movie off of. So I'm going to list some differences. It's almost impossible to list them all, but I'm going to tell you some of the ones that stood out to me. So in the movie, they want to send Forrest to a special school because of his IQ, and his mother ends up sleeping with the principal so that Forrest can go to a real school and not a special school. In the book, he does go to a special school. That's where he spends the majority of his schooling until they see his size and try to make him a football player. That was another difference. In the movie, they see him running and they base his running is what made him into that football player. In the book, Forrest was a big guy. He was described as being 6'5" and about 242 pounds, which does not really represent Tom Hanks in the Forrest Gump movie. But his size is what made him stand out in the book, and his size is what originally carried him to play football. In the movie, as a child, his legs were not healthy, and he had to wear braces on his legs to help him get around. In the book, that's never mentioned. He has perfectly fine legs. No mention of braces or any difficulties with that were ever mentioned. One thing that really disappointed me was the infamous lines, "Run, Forrest, run," in the movie was not present at all in the book. I think that bothered me almost more than anything else, because when you think of Forrest Gump, almost one of the first things you remember is the lines, "Run, Forrest, run," and that's nowhere to be found in the book. In the book, Forrest goes to college, and in the movie he goes to college too. In the movie, he graduates from college. In the book, he ends up getting kicked out of college because he's failing all of his classes and he's not smart enough. His best friend, Bubba, in the movie, you first see him when he's being shipped off to the Vietnam War, when he's in the army. In the book, he actually meets Bubba at college, and they become good buddies at college, and then they reunite again in the army at the Vietnam War. He never goes on his running journey in the book. In the movie, he goes on this fantastic running journey. People start following him. He starts being tracked in newspapers and magazine articles, and that's how Jenny ends up finding him again, is seeing him broadcasted on the news. This never happens whatsoever in the book. He has no running journey whatsoever. The book goes off on many different storylines that are completely non-existent in the movie, and I'm going to give you one example. In the book, Jenny and Forrest go to the Capitol, and Jenny talks Forrest into taking his Congressional Medal of Honor and throwing it at the Capitol steps. Forrest does so, and he ends up nailing some important official, and he ends up getting put in jail. From his time in jail, he ends up becoming an astronaut, and they put him in a space shuttle with another woman and an ape named Sue, and they go off into space, and they end up crashing and coming back down to Earth, and they land in some wild area, and they end up being taken captive by cannibals. This completely blew my mind when I read it, because this was not what I was expecting when I read Forrest Gump. As you can tell, this does not happen whatsoever in the movie. This was just like a wild side story to me. Another thing that kind of saddened me in the book was, in the movie, Forrest ends up marrying Jenny, and they live her last moments of her life together happily. He takes care of their child. Jenny dies. In the book, they do end up having a child together, but Jenny does not die, and she actually marries another man, and her new husband are the ones who are raising Forrest's son. So the ending was completely different in the book and the movie as well. So this was a no-brainer for me, picking out which one that I thought was better. Of course, the movie was better to me. The book was just a little bit too crazy for me. It was so much more different than the movie. The movie is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Tom Hanks did an excellent job playing Forrest Gump. The book, it was good. I think I would have enjoyed it more had I read it before I saw the movie. But to me, it just does not hold a candle to the movie. What do you guys think? Did you have any other problems with the differences between the book and the movie? Did you guys enjoy both too? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time when we will be talking about The Book Thief.